Ah, we're rolling.
Yep.
Yep. And if you've just tuned in, this is Behind the Scenes with the State of the Ozarks podcast.
Mm-hmm.
I'm Joshua Heston. And
you usually didn't use your full title.
I didn't. Oh, I didn't.
That's right.
Editor-in-Chief to God and you're all my subjects.
I'm Ethan.
Yes. Hi, Ethan.
And I'm Armadillo, and I am planking.
Planking Armadillo.
Planking.
This is in
Not moving.
2012.
No, it's 2001: A Space Odyssey. And that's when the armadillo's planked.
Tis true.
I have no idea what
That just went right over my head.
No, well, for good reason, because I just made it up.
Okay.
So, yeah, no reference whatsoever. No reference whatsoever. So, are we ready to rock and roll?
Yep.
Does Alejandro...
No, but I have a question.
Yes.
What is Joshua Harmithkadostov Heston wearing?
Oh, what am I wearing?
Clothes. Hope.
Clothing today. I'm wearing my Commander Riker shirt. I just beamed in from the Enterprise Bridge.
Yes, I knew it. I knew I recognized this.
Uh-huh. For Next Generation.
Like the generation after the millennials?
The one before, but much, much after.
Baby boomers?
80s.
I think we're talking about different generations.
I think we are. 1987. Star Trek The Next Generation. Yeah. Commander Riker. Did you watch Star Trek The Next Generation?
I was forbidden.
Oh, I'm sorry. Do you want to catch up?
I wasn't forbidden.
We can Netflix it.
I've already talked too much.
You watched Star Trek: The Next Generation, a little bit.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Bits here and there. I
Right.
actually sat down
And just binge watched it.
Yeah.
Oh.
It was so good. All right, and we're gonna talk nerds and availability of all things spacey.
Yeah.
Yay! And Star Wars cookies. I did not make any Star Wars cookies, but
Those did look good.
they
still
are.
have a bunch of Girl Scout cookies.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. All right.
So that will-
We're ready to rock and roll?
Yep.
Welcome to the State of the Ozarks podcast. This is Josh Heston, Editor-in-Chief.
And this is Ethan Grubaugh,
And we're talking about our Ozarks.
your community.
And this episode of Been Thinking About has been brought to you by Stafford's Barbershop and Shave Company, the place for men in downtown Branson.
Shepherd the Musical, rediscovering America's story.
And Taney County Health Department, creating opportunities for healthy lives in our community. Mighty good folks. And can't make any announcements yet, but we're fixing to add some more folks to that list.
Oh, I didn't even know about that.
Yep. We're going to expand our reach.
Ooh.
I'm very excited about that.
Yeah. And we can get these new people here to guest host with us.
To jump in and guest host, of course. Once someone does becoming a podcast partner, you have to be a State of the Ozarks member.
Yes.
To start with, just to clarify that. We have to vet you. Sorry if you're not vetted. And then second, you get to join in.
Yep, I have like the whole thing somewhere in here.
Yeah, I think. Yes.
Yep. So 6 months,
Mm-hmm.
6 months of promotion on the
Yes.
podcast.
Yes.
Meaning your name is mentioned like we did with the other three.
Absolutely. That's what we got.
And then, like we said, you get to come in and co-host.
Yes. And which is fun.
Yeah.
You get supper.
Yeah.
Message us if you have any food allergies.
Yeah, that's probably fair.
Yeah. we don't want to kill you on podcast partner night. It would be bad.
And it also gives an opportunity. I'm just going to steamroll past you. Anyway, there
would be paperwork.
It's going to give you an opportunity for you as the Ozarks to have a voice.
Absolutely. And that's what #Soda Life is all about.
That's right.
These multifaceted campaigns on State of the Ozarks that allows us to give regular, everyday Ozark people a voice.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of fun. Starting with you.
Yeah.
You regular, everyday Ozark person.
I'm average.
You're above average.
Oh, thanks.
You're welcome. That's what I'm here for. You can pay me later. And we have...
Do you accept Groupons? I don't know.
Possibly.
Okay.
Quite possibly. And along with this, this is kind of a unique issue on this Saturday or this Sunday. I don't even know what day it is. It's Monday actually, but the issue came out last night.
Yeah.
And it's all about nerds.
It was just, last week was about trees.
Trees. Now nerds.
Yeah.
Nerds, trees, nerds. They are different from one another.
A little bit.
Yeah, just a smidge.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so what do you think about the articles and my charming editorial, if I do say so myself? It was more utilitarian, but
yeah.
it was important to get the points across.
Yeah.
We've got some interesting nerd culture developing in the Ozarks.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, especially with the rise of like the Marvel films and stuff like that.
No doubt.
Kind of flocks everyone to any kind of con.
It really does. It really does. Of course, you got to go to the Vision Con that Abaddon from Supernatural was at.
That was the only one that I've actually been able to go and actually, spend time at.
Yeah.
Because the other 2-3 since then, something like that.
You've had to work.
I've had to work, and so I'll get there and have an hour or two to kill.
Yeah. Sometimes less.
Yeah.
Sometimes just long enough to buy a sword.
Let's not talk about that.
It is an amazing sword.
Yeah.
Anduil, Flame of the West.
Yeah, the lady from Supernatural was there, and at the time I hadn't seen
those episodes.
Mm-hmm. So I'm sitting here going, "Who are you?" But I mean, people,
Yeah.
You had a whole room full of people, hundreds of questions being asked. And
Once
again, I'm sitting here going, "Who are you?"
I think that is so. For people who are not familiar, and of course, not that many years ago, I wasn't even familiar with this whole concept of cons. I was vaguely aware of Trekkie.
I knew about the big one in
San Diego. Comic Con.
Yeah.
And so the first time I attended was the Vision Con several years ago here in Branson. And it was a little bit of a culture shock with the whole cosplay.
Yeah.
So for people who don't know, what is immersing yourself in at least the cosplay culture like going to a con?
Well, I was reading the first article, the Nerdfest article, which kind of describes, someone who's not used to that sort of setting going in.
Yes.
To that setting, and I'm not a cosplayer, and I enjoy the Marvel movie, I enjoy superheroes and stuff like that, but going in there and then all of a sudden there's 4 different Captain Americas, a Wookiee, an Ewok, all kinds of stuff. At first it's a little off-putting.
Yes, it takes you aback. It takes you back just a little bit if you're not used to it.
You're not entirely sure
what you're supposed to do with them.
Yeah, like what's the point? What's the purpose behind all this?
And how do we interact with people doing this? I think that was my first jump into this. Going, okay, what do I do with you?
Yeah.
Do I just walk by? Do I give you a thumbs up? Do I take your picture? Is it rude to take your picture?
Yeah.
Do I talk to you? Is it rude to talk to you? You're a stranger. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So what did you do?
I gotta get my train of thought back. Hang on.
You were suddenly immersed into. That was back when Vision Con.
Yeah, that was at the Radisson.
That was at the Radisson.
Mm-hmm.
Vision Con had come down from Springfield. It was at the Radisson Hotel. I remember you coming back with tales of somebody in the full Predator.
Yeah, there was Predator there. That was pretty cool.
And like really elderly Branson tourists staring at
Predator.
At Predator. Going, wait, did we book the right vacation?
I want to say RoboCop was there too, like a really good
RoboCop.
RoboCop, and there's a couple others there that were really really impressive.
Yes.
But then you have generic brand Spider-Man. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But he put time and effort in, so
yeah,
good for you.
Absolutely.
And I was there. I had a T-shirt. Mm-hmm. With Marvel characters, that was it.
Yeah.
And I felt like the one out of place.
Yes, yes. There is so much once you dive into the world of cosplay. I think there's so much to unravel, and most of it's pretty good.
Yeah.
When you get to the bottom of it, first time that I got into it, well, not got into it, but was immersed in it was when VisionCon was at the convention center. I was covering it as a journalist. I was wearing State of the Ozarks red with the logo. and going, wow, I'm so confused right now. And yet, at the end of it was a bit inexplicable. At the end of the day, I really didn't want to leave.
Yeah.
Like, I was
Just
so...
kinda, it sucks you in. Because, you know, you're
strangely freeing.
Yeah, but you're watching all these people when you first walk in, you're like, okay, what's the point in all of this? Like, and the point is just to have fun.
To have fun, and it builds community.
Yeah.
And there was a really... So, the first time that we covered VisionCon, it was at the Branson Convention Center. Same night. 2 other events going on. One was the Chamber of Commerce Black Tie Gala. and the other was an evangelical conference for the Church of Nazarene. Right, pretty much literally next door. And of course it's the Branson Convention Center concourse, so everybody walks the concourse.
Of course.
To get to where you're going.
Yeah.
And you know, so you had, of course I'm a huge Star Wars fan, but you know, you had Deadpool, you had like you know, Ula the slave girl, you know, painted green, wearing the bikini. You had all of these in various, of course once you get into anime I had no clue. So all of these different characters, all of these things.
4 different Batman.
And then you have the individuals who are going to the other events, walking past with you know, suits, ties, black ties, ballroom gowns, that sort of thing. And there was a very astute, I believe it was a young woman in some sort of full cosplay, who looks over at me and goes, "We're not the only people who dress up in costumes and pretend to be something we're not." And I think there was a great quote. This was actually from a panel speaker from 2 years ago at VisionCon. That she said, we as a society, we dress up in costumes every day. We dress up in the costume of, say, success. She was an academic. She taught English. She said, I dress up. I love this quote. She said, I dress up in the costume of a serious, successful, adult academic teacher, and I have to go through my days like that. When the real me wants to be in my Star Wars pajamas, eating cereal, watching Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle cartoons in front of the television, and pretending like it's Saturday morning. That's what the real me wants to do. But the serious me, who has to make a living, who has a career, I'm going to wear these costumes. Mm-hmm. That resonates. That makes sense to me.
Yeah.
And I think it really speaks of a larger situation that we've got ourselves in. We've got a great culture. We've got a great communities. But we have these demands that are placed on us that says we're supposed to dress a certain way. We're supposed to act a certain way. And sometimes the creative human spirit needs to be more than that. Mm-hmm. And sometimes we want to be Thor. Or Batman. Or Luke Skywalker.
Right. And, you know, I'm a big Cardinals fan.
Yes.
Baseball fan. And, you know, I have all kinds of t-shirts.
Yeah.
So, to me, that's fun for me to wear is, you know, to support or to show off my pride for my team, I guess.
Absolutely.
And in a way, they're doing the same thing.
Mm-hmm. It is.
They just have to have, you know, a whole herd of them to
and
not feel out of place.
And for people who are listening to us instead of watching us on YouTube, yeah, I'm in cosplay right now.
Yeah.
I'm wearing my Star Trek: The Next Generation shirt, uniform.
Yeah.
Commander's uniform. Even though there are some YouTube videos out there that say that Commander Riker really was just a big dork and didn't do anything, he's still one of my heroes. Mainly for surviving the Battle of Wolf 359, but that's secondary.
Okay.
Yeah, big moment in Star Trek: The Next Generation. Double episodes. The Borg almost destroyed Earth the first time. It was pretty tense.
The first time. So it happened again.
It did happen again. They had their issues. Well, they needed to make a movie. I think that was Star Trek: Next Generation: First Contact. And you know, even though, wow, I sound like such a Trekkie, which is fair. I was a Star Wars guy first, mm-hmm. and I am a Star Wars guy first, foremost, and always. But I love Star Trek. And so I'm looking forward. Of course, we've got some really cool stuff coming up. State of the Ozarks is going to cover the 2 nerd conventions. We now have 2, count them, 2 nerd conventions within the Southwest Missouri region.
Yep.
We've got Branson Con, which is a brand new con.
Which is
next weekend.
Next weekend. Okay, I wasn't sure if it was this weekend or next.
Or next weekend, yeah. This coming weekend, Branson Con is kicking off at the Branson Convention Center.
Yeah. So where VisionCon. Yeah.
Where VisionCon was. It gets a little confusing. So if you're, of course, hopefully we can clear some of this up for people who's listening this week. After this week, it's kind of beside the point, but VisionCon is a much older con.
Yeah.
And VisionCon began in Springfield. It moved down here to the Radisson Hotel. Yeah. Then they grew massively, ran out of room, moved to the Branson Convention Center. And that's where it was all the way through last year on approximately these dates, like end of February, beginning of March.
Right.
Basically.
And then they are moving back to Springfield.
They have moved back to Springfield. No, as far as anybody's told me, certainly, objective journalistic note, everybody's happy with everyone. They just wanted to move back to Springfield.
Fair enough.
Absolutely. Of course, most of the board, if not all of the board, is in Springfield. And so they got a great, this is completely an aside, but they got Alamo Draft House is one of their sponsors.
Really?
Yeah. But Branson IMAX has traditionally been a sponsor, and Branson IMAX is a sponsor for Branson Con.
Well, that's because they're right here.
They're here in superhero movies all the way. And I love, so that's the dynamic that is happening, and we're going to cover Branson Con on Instagram and on Facebook.
Ooh, so stay tuned.
Yes, absolutely.
I will say one more note, because you asked me about the first one I went to.
Yes.
It was at the Radisson.
Mm-hmm.
Looking back, the biggest thing that I can remember was just how stinking cramped it was.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
There were just people all over the halls, just sitting down in the hallway because it was a mess.
And more space is good space. For sure. And there's aspects of a con that I don't get into, like the gaming.
Right.
They do like almost 24-hour gaming.
Yeah.
I don't game, so I'm kind of out of that. They have guest speakers, guest folks come in, and they have guest folks come in, and then they have the vendor floor. And that's kind of like where all the fun stuff happens.
Yeah, because you got all kinds of stuff. You have artwork, T-shirts, buttons. Some people sell jewelry, and then you have swords.
And yeah, I think we should nest on the swords for a moment. Somebody that I know has a weakness for swords. I just want to land on this for a moment.
Yeah, that guy's an idiot.
No, he's not. He's pursuing his inner truth as a superhero, or at least as well. What have you got? As Aragorn.
Yeah, I got that one. I got the Master Sword from Legend of Zelda.
Nice.
A replica cavalry sword from the Civil War that was given to me.
Yeah. Yes.
And then the one that you gave me that has like a monkey head or something.
Yes. So you are collecting swords.
Yeah.
Swords are cool. I don't care who you are. Swords are epic.
Yes.
And I'm glad you have Anduil. Of course, you got to...
The sucker's big.
It is. Well, it is the flame of the West.
Yeah.
And I think I don't know if we're deliberately or inadvertently establishing our nerd card for the fact that we know Star Wars.
Right.
We know Star Trek. We know Lord of the Rings. We know Supernatural. What else do we do? What else do you know? Well, of course, Marvel.
Marvel.
All the Marvel stuff.
Some DC.
Yeah, Batman.
Batman.
You are Batman.
I have parents.
Yes, you do. Okay, so you're not Batman.
Right.
You're not Robin. He don't have parents either.
Yeah, and I couldn't fit in the tights.
There are there's a lot of spandex at a con.
Yeah.
Visitor beware.
Even for things that don't really need spandex.
Yes. And of course I'm still wrapping my head. There's pros and cons about all of this. Still wrapping my head around it, but one of my favorite, most hysterical moments was 2 years ago at VisionCon. And one of the cosplayers, of course, they had to do the whole gender shift.
Right.
And that. And so it was Princess Leia, slave girl Princess Leia, in the form of like a 300-pound bearded man in top and bottom gold bikini. Yeah. And then on top of that, it was culture shock, but then there was just this weird sense of liberation that he just sort of exuded. And then to top it off, like 10 o'clock that night, he was playing pool at Waxy's. Waxy O'Shea's, which is, on the landing across from Ransing from the Ransing Convention Center.
And you laugh, but I would not have the courage to do that.
It takes a lot of courage to do that.
My goodness.
And people laugh at me for my kilt.
Yeah.
So, yeah. That was the same year, because we've actually participated a number of years with Vision.
Because I remember a couple years ago you guys had a big booth.
We did a big booth, represented a lot of our members.
Actually, helping you guys set up that was kind of how I started getting involved here.
Yeah, actually it was. Yeah. Yes. And that was an enormous amount of work, but wow, it was fun.
Yeah.
And my cosplay that year was Bald Knobber.
Yeah.
And the benefit to that was I went, when else am I going to get to have the run of the convention center whole weekend barefoot? So I just rolled with it. Yeah. And then last year we had, again with VisionCon, separate companies. They're both, I think they're doing a great job. We'll see how everything goes next weekend. But we had a State of the Ozarks table just representing State of the Ozarks, not a lot of other members. Right. Did not have anything for sale at this booth, but let's see, we had Red the Green Alien.
Red the Green Alien. 6 foot inflatable.
Yes, actually, I think it's 8.
8 foot, yeah.
8 foot.
He's tall.
8 foot he's inflatable tall. Green Alien.
Yeah, and then of course the best part of the whole con was Xavier.
Yes, Xavier or Javier.
Yeah.
The stress llama.
Yeah.
Yes, Casey loaned us his plush llama.
Yeah. And
we named him Javier or Xavier.
Yeah.
And we set him up, and anyone who was stressed got to come by and pet him. And I think he was the most... people would stop by the booth just to say hello.
Just to pet the llama.
Just to pet the llama. Yeah. He was very sweet.
They didn't care what you guys had to say. They just
wanted to pet the llama. No, exactly. They couldn't care less what we had to say, but they loved the llama, which was great. And I did a buttload of cosplay last year. I did Commander Riker.
The kilted antler guy.
Yes, Krononos.
Yes.
Celtic god of the forest. And Caitlin did my makeup.
Yeah.
It did the really dark stuff. Uh-huh. And then I took one of Michael Amber doing craft props. Michael Amber temporarily donated us some stuff.
Yeah.
And I took that giant dinosaur skull, dinosaur skull head, and huge Zelda sword thing. And then paired that with the Commander Riker. Said I was the first Gorn captain of Starfleet, and then I was here to rock and roll. So yeah.
And then I showed up, right after I got off work. So I was in, slacks and a button down, and you told me to hold a radish.
Yes, I do remember holding. Oh, and
radish for the face.
Radish for the face. Yeah, we had medieval vegetables.
Yeah.
For things like throwing.
The skull.
And then yes, the skull. And the skull had a name. Trying to remember what the name was.
I want to say it would start with a B.
Yeah, Bertram.
Yeah.
Bertram the Skull.
You guys played catch with.
We played catch with Bertram the Skull throughout the vendor floor. We would just stop in the middle of the crowd and start playing hot potato with the weathered skull. It was fun.
Yeah.
I managed to keep my antlers on my head the whole time.
That's good.
It was a trick.
Super excited for both of them. I'm hoping that I get the chance to be at either one.
I am too. And of course...
because I want another sword.
This is an obsession with you.
It's an expensive one.
And then, just for clarification, the VisionCon will be in May. this year.
Yeah.
It will be in May. It will be at the Springfield Expo Center on the north side of Springfield, Missouri.
And we were just talking earlier about, things that people save their money up for, cologne or ammo or
swords.
Friggin' swords.
Yeah. Good stuff. Of course, the recipe in this week is
Star Wars cookies.
Star Wars cookies. Those date back to my childhood.
I noticed when I had a disclaimer, it said, have your parents help.
Yes. I wanted to throw that in there for this week's weekly. Cornflakes and corn syrup. It's a diet nightmare, but man, they're good.
You make some sometime.
I will. I actually had it on the schedule. I was going to make it tonight, but I didn't. Had meetings.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So, to learn more, visit us on stateoftheozarks.net.
Sign up for the State of the Ozarks weekly email.
Like State of the Ozarks on Facebook.
Follow at Soto Media on Twitter.
Subscribe to Soto Media on YouTube.
And follow us on Instagram at State of the Ozarks.
Thank you for listening to Been Thinking About, the State of the Ozarks podcast with Josh.
And Ethan.
And this is our Ozarks.
Your community. One thing we forgot to mention in the outro. iTunes.
Again, because it's not written on there. It's written on there.
I just written on it. I know. I saw that and I was like,
yeah. Oh, that's all right.
Oh well, I didn't.
Yeah. If you're watching us on YouTube,
we're on iTunes.
We're on iTunes, and I've been thinking about.
Yep.
And good times. Long live and prosper. Namaste. See y'all.
I'm hungry.
I am too. See you guys.
I haven't smelled food the whole time.